Do you struggle with resting, relaxing, and doing nothing? When you struggle with high functioning anxiety, it can be difficult to relax, and you might have this internal drive to always be busy so that you can get more done or so that you can avoid failure or negative consequences. In this episode, I'm going to discuss why always being busy is actually making your high functioning anxiety worse and what you can do about it. Welcome to Calmly Coping. My name is Tati, and I am a licensed therapist and a high-functioning anxiety coach. I help high achievers overcome high-functioning anxiety so they can finally stop overthinking everything. If this topic interests you, then please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for tuning in. High-functioning anxiety can make it difficult to relax because of all of the thoughts constantly swirling in your mind, and you might feel a drive to always be busy because you want to achieve more and be more successful. Although this desire to be busy can result in high achievement and success, it can turn into a double-edged sword if you aren't taking the time to properly rest and take care of your mental health. I was recently asked an excellent question pertaining to busyness and overworking when it comes to high-functioning anxiety. Araceli asked, in most entrepreneurial circles and really any high achiever circles, there is a culture of burning the candle at both ends. Waking up early and staying up late to work on your goal, working as hard as you can in the beginning, don't take days off, just take hours off, etc. How should those with high-functioning anxiety approach this concept? Should we focus on getting better first and then going full out on our goals, or is there a balance between the two? I think this is something that many entrepreneurs and high achievers in general struggle with. The pressure between wanting to work hard in order to achieve success and knowing when it's okay to rest and take time for yourself. So I'm going to approach this question one topic at a time. First, we're going to talk about how hustle culture and always being busy affects you when you have high functioning anxiety. So let's look at what hustle culture and always being busy actually look like. Araceli gave a few examples of waking up early and staying up late to work on your goals, working as hard as you can in the beginning and not taking days off, just taking hours off. In practice, this can mean spending time always doing and working and always being busy. You might wake up in the morning, immediately grab your phone and check social media or email, and then immediately jump into work and start grinding things out for the day until you're forced to stop because you need to eat or go to the bathroom. You might be taking minimal breaks for the day and just focusing on getting things done, whether it has to do with work, personal responsibilities, or chores. By the time you've reached the end of the day, you're so exhausted that you have no motivation or desire to do anything except vegging out on the couch and binge watching TV shows until you pass out in front of the TV. Rinse and repeat. Sound familiar? So the reality is that society glorifies the person who keeps pushing and works hard to make it to the top. It builds on this idea that if you just work hard enough, then you can achieve success. On top of that, there's also this belief that if your schedule is not constantly full and you're not always busy, then you must not be that important or you must be lazy. Self-worth has become interchangeable with how busy your schedule is, how important your job seems, and how much money you're making. This might leave you feeling as though you're never busy enough or successful enough or accomplishing enough fast enough to meet society's or your own unrealistic expectations. And these are just normal cultural expectations and pressures. Now, when we add your struggles with high functioning anxiety on top of that, then that might mean that you might be more sensitive to these unrealistic expectations, and you might fear that if you don't do things this way, then everything will fall apart. High functioning anxiety might result in you mentally amplifying the negative consequences or the bad things that could occur if you don't feel busy, leaving you feeling trapped in this cycle where you have to be busy in order to avoid failure or disaster. And that's what anxiety does. It results in you thinking of the worst case scenario in situations and doing whatever you can to prevent them from happening. High functioning anxiety can also result in you putting unrealistic expectations on yourself, expecting and aiming for perfection, and focusing on continuing to do and stay busy in order to feel a sense of control. That's because anxiety thrives in uncertainty. So the more you can feel a sense of control, the more you feel as though you're controlling your anxiety. but oftentimes it's just a false sense of control because you're just layering more doing and working and busyness on top of the emotions and uncomfortable thoughts that are building up under the surface. So how does the act of always being busy influence you when you have high functioning anxiety? So by the title of this episode, you might have guessed that it makes things worse. That's because when you're constantly busy, you're not taking time for yourself to recharge. And you're a human being. You have to recharge. Sayings such as, I'll rest when I'm dead, or sleep is for the weak are harmful, and they perpetuate this idea that rest is not a necessary and important part of being human. So you have two options. Number one, you can work hard, hustle, and never take days off. You might be able to sustain this in the beginning, but at some point, you're gonna reach a breaking point. This might result in burnout, increased irritability, anxiety, a lack of motivation, cynicism, and dread about the future. I've totally been there. And this is what happens when you don't take the time to rest and you can't stop constantly being busy or doing. Option number two is to work hard and stay focused while regularly taking breaks to rest and recharge. Regularly take breaks throughout the day. Disconnect from work and from staying busy in the morning and the evenings, and allow yourself the proper time to rest and recharge by taking off at least 1 day per week completely off of work. You'll be able to sustain focused work longer. Your ability to create and achieve maximum output will increase, and you will feel better in the process. So which one do you choose? Option one or option two? I think it's a no-brainer. So why exactly does being busy make high functioning anxiety worse? So that's because you might be more sensitive to external triggers, and when you push through and continue to stay busy, you might actually be ignoring your body's signs and signals. These signals might be telling you that you need to process and work through your emotions, bring awareness to unhelpful thoughts that you're having, or care for your mental or physical health in some other way. Anxiety and stress increase when you're not listening to your needs, you never feel like you can take a break, and you have way too many external inputs such as work, constantly learning new things, and filling every empty moment with things like checking your phone through checking social media or email or anything else. And you have no outputs to allow you to reflect upon and process what's going on within. It's as easy as inputs versus outputs. If you're taking in way too much and not allowing yourself the time and the space to output and process and work through what's going on within, then that's going to cause a buildup of anxiety, stress, and other difficult emotions. And staying busy actually prevents you from confronting your thoughts and emotions, which will just end up building up over time, especially when you struggle with high functioning anxiety. So what can you do about it? First, I want to take a quick break to talk about my essential guide to overcoming high functioning anxiety. This is a free guide for high achievers who are struggling with high functioning anxiety, and I will walk you through my 5-step roadmap and process to help you get to the root of your high functioning anxiety so you can feel more calm and at ease and learn what you need to do in order to make positive changes in your life. You can get this free guide by going to hfaguide.com or by clicking on the link in the description. So now, what's the best approach for those with high functioning anxiety? So Araceli asked, how should those with high functioning anxiety approach this concept? Should we focus on getting better first and then going full out on our goals? Or is there a balance between the two? Many people say that work-life balance is a myth, and I wholeheartedly disagree. I believe that balance is an integral and essential part of life. And there's even systems within our bodies that are constantly in flux as a way of achieving balance. For example, your body temperature is a way that your body maintains the homeostasis and equilibrium in order to keep yourself in balance. That's why your body does things like sweat when you get hot to decrease your body temperature, and your muscles shiver when you get cold to increase your body temperature. This is just one way that your body maintains balance, and I think that this applies throughout life. It's important to maintain balance when it comes to the time that you devote to busyness, work, and to relaxation. At the same time, perfect balance is impossible, but perfection is impossible anyway. So when it comes to talking about balance, It is just the flux and flow of things that will end up balancing each other out in the long run. If you push too hard and give too much to others, that's burnout. And that's an example of not having balance. But if you go through phases where you're working hard and prioritizing work, and then you follow it up with a period of time for rest and focusing on your family, that may not be perfect balance in one day, but over time, you're creating balance within your life and prioritizing what's important to you at that moment in time. Because we all go through different phases and seasons of our lives when different things take precedence and take priority, and that's perfectly okay. When you're in the beginning stages of building a business or working towards a promotion or some goal in your life, then work may be a priority for you at that time, but that does not mean that that always has to be a priority. And so it's important to bring awareness to what's important to you in this moment and also balance that with taking time to rest and recharge and listening to your body's needs. So now here are my 4 tips to help you manage busyness when you struggle with high functioning anxiety. Tip number 1 is that it is perfectly okay to go through periods of time where you work hard. Like I said before, especially this applies, let's say, if you're at the beginning stages of building a business or working towards another important project or goal in your life. Be aware of your self-talk when you're working hard, and remember to focus on the wins and the progress that you're making, because when you struggle with high-functioning anxiety, it can be easy to focus on the negative and what you haven't done yet. So really be intentional with bringing this focus to everything you have accomplished. Even if you haven't yet reached your goals, that's okay, because I'm sure that you've accomplished way more and made way more progress than you probably are giving yourself credit for. And when you change this negative self-talk to positive self-talk, then this will allow you to feel more motivated and feel better in the process. Tip number 2 is to ensure that you're balancing these periods of working hard with periods of rest. It's best to regularly integrate periods of rest so that you can feel fully recharged and bring your best foot forward. This can mean taking a 15-minute break every 2 to 3 hours, resting in the morning and evening, and taking 1 day per week completely off of work. Tip number 3 is to be kind to yourself if you're caught in a period of busyness and working a lot. This happens to me, and I make it a point to listen to my gut or my intuition, that feeling from within, and I've become more in tune with this over time. And sometimes my gut tells me that I'm in a burst of creativity. And so that might mean that I'm working into the night and into the weekends to get something out of me or to get a project done. But I make sure to allow myself time to recover once I have gone through this period. The important part is to allow yourself to rest, but don't beat yourself up if you feel like you haven't rested enough, whatever that means for you. Accept the reality of where you are right now without fixating on the past and what you cannot change. And tip number 4 is to build non-negotiables into your daily routine. I like to call these baseline habits that you must do in order to feel like a human being and in order to feel like you can approach the day with more of a sense of ease and groundedness. And these are the things that make sure that you're caring for both your mental and your physical health. So right now, my baseline habits are exercise, journaling, meditation, and reading. So some other examples might include getting a full night of sleep, maybe going for an afternoon walk, drinking plenty of water, or tracking your mood daily with an app like Dailyo. Make a list of your non-negotiables and integrate them into your daily routine regardless of how busy you are. In fact, the busier you are, the more you probably need these habits. There is no perfect recipe to achieving your goals. The most important thing is to recognize that you are doing things your way and to listen to yourself and your needs. This will ensure that you're not only doing your best work, but that you're also taking care of yourself and your needs in the process so that you can feel better. Your action tip is to take these tips that I've shared with you, especially the ones that resonate with you the most, and put them into action, because nothing changes if you don't change. Recognize what your current priorities are in life and remember that you can't do it all at once, and that's perfectly okay. I'd love to hear your thoughts on high-functioning anxiety, hustle culture, and busyness, so please leave me a comment below letting me know what you think. I have an exciting announcement that if you are a high achiever who's struggling with high functioning anxiety, I am launching a monthly membership in September. If you are interested in finding out more about it, I will be creating monthly masterclasses to help you reach your goal of balancing your responsibilities, getting out of the cycle of busyness and overworking, and achieving more calm in your life while maintaining ambition. You can find out more about this by going to calmandambitious.com. And while you wait for next week's episode, I have other episodes about decreasing anxiety, managing your time and energy, and adopting a healthy mindset. You can watch these episodes here. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and until next time, be calm.